Hi everyone, this is Professor Camilleri. I hope you can hear me well, welcome to my first video for the course. So what I thought I would do is show you guys how to create a bar chart using both Excel and on Google Spreadsheets. My recommendation is for you guys to use Excel because it creates better APA formatted graphs with error bars. But if you don't have Excel, you do have access to the free Google Spreadsheets, and I'll show you how to do that. So this first one is bar charts on Excel. All right, first thing that you'll take note of is you've got your database set up over here. The first column represents your subject number, and as you can see, there are 21 participants in this study. Next column represents people's scores on grumpiness. If you remember from the reading, these are scores that range anywhere from 1 through 6. 6 indicates the person is super grumpy, and 1 means the person is not grumpy at all. Third column is the categorical variable. So this, even though you're seeing 1s, 2s, and 3s, it's really telling us which category a person belongs into. And 1, I believe, is the person had lunch. 2s represent the person had a snack, and 3s tell us the person did not have lunch. Okay, so when we're creating bar charts, basically what we're doing is we're going to calculate the average grumpiness of people in each of these categories. So that's what you can see that I did down here, right? So we've got the 1s, 2s, and 3s. So just if you want to keep track of them, 1, 2, 3. This means lunch, snack, no lunch. And in the course materials, I showed you how to calculate this. So if you're unsure, I'll do it really quickly. So under mean, you would type equals average, open the parenthesis. You're going to hold the control button down. And for all the 1s, you're going to select the grumpiness score. Let's see here. There we go. Actually, on a Mac, it's the command button. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, so what I'm doing is I found all the 1s for hunger, right? That means that they've had lunch, and I've highlighted their grumpiness scores. When you're done, you close the parenthesis, you hit enter, and it's calculated the average grumpiness for you. The next column over here is standard error. This you won't be calculating at all. You'll get this information from either SPSS output, or for this class I'm going to teach you a free online stats program called Vassar And when we get to it for the lab work, I'll show you how to calculate and get this information. But right now, we're just going to assume that we have this information. So we're going to use this to create our error bars. All right, once you've got the database set up like this, you can now create your bar chart. The way to do that is you highlight your labels with the means. This is the only stuff that you highlight. Don't highlight mean, don't highlight those numbers, just these labels with the mean scores. At the very top, you're going to go to Insert, and we're going to go to Chart, and it's called a column chart. Okay, and so this is the default column chart. I'll move it over here. Let's make it a little bigger so it's easier to see. Okay, and what we want to do is, I don't think you can see it. I don't know if I can move this. Oh yeah, I can. On the far right-hand side, there's this information here. Okay, and this is where we're going to be modifying a lot of this stuff. Okay, so unfortunately I'm going to have to move this around a little bit. Okay, let's get this into APA format. First thing, we're going to get rid of this title, so you click on it and you hit delete. These horizontal bars, we don't want those, so you click on one of them. You can see that they're highlighted, and you hit delete. Okay. We also don't want color in our graphs, so I'm going to double click on it, and if we go to the right, you can see this is where I can change some of these settings. So you click on the paint bucket here, and we don't want any fill. And we do want a solid line that is black. So we make sure that's selected. All right, if we go to the left, you can see that the color is gone and we've got this nice outline. Okay. We also want to get solid outlines for each axis. Okay, so if you click on this axis here, see now that it's highlighted, and we go back to the right, we want a solid line that's black. And let's go back. For the y-axis, we're going to click on it as well. You can see that it's highlighted. I'm going to go to the right. Solid line, make sure it's black. Okay, you know, I think I might have a better solution. Hang on a second. I am a genius. Okay, there we go. No more moving left and right. Okay, so as I said, you click on this, solid line, and we've got that line here. We also want to make sure that we are adding our label. So notice that the default is missing the y-axis label here. If we go to the top, you can see chart element. Okay, so we want to choose that, and we're going to add our axis titles, and this is the primary vertical. Okay, double click, and now we can type in grumpiness. All right, so with bar charts, the dependent variable or the continuously measured variable is always on the y-axis. The independent variable, which is also our categorical variable, is always on the x-axis. All right, we are almost ready. The last element we need to add is the error bars. Okay, so to do that, let's go back here. We're going to go to chart element. We want error bars, and we're going to go to more error bar options. Okay, go to the right. We always want to make sure that we're standardizing, we're not using any of these items here that we're going to custom error bars. All right. Under custom, we click on specify value. And under the positive error value, what we're going to do is delete what's in there, and we're going to highlight the 3 standard error scores. So basically what positive error value means is for lunch, we're going to go up by 0.2974. For snack, we're going to go up by 0.2857. And for no lunch, we're going to go up by 0.3401. Right? So it's basically how far above each mean are we going to go. For negative values, we're going to highlight the same 3 numbers because, again, what it's going to say is for lunch, we're going to go 0.297 below this mean. Right? That's how far down it's going to go. For snack, we're going to go below the mean by 0.2857. And then for no lunch, we're going to go below the mean by 0.3401. Right? So again, when we're looking at bar charts, the top of the bar represents the mean, okay? And then the error bars is telling us if this is our sample mean over here, the population mean falls somewhere within this range. Okay, so let's click OK to get the actual values. And there we go. APA formatted bar chart. So this is what I'm going to be looking for this semester. The way to interpret this, as I pointed out in the notes, is you look at these error bars to see if there's any overlap between them. So notice the bottom of this error bar doesn't overlap with this one, doesn't overlap with this. So there's a gap. What that means is the population mean of this group over here is never going to be at the same level as people in the snack condition and the lunch condition, right? The population mean of grumpiness of people who haven't had any lunch is never going to get this low. So that means there is a significant difference. If we look at these 2 groups, however, notice that the error bar of this group does overlap with the error bar in this group. So what it means is, even though our sample means look a little different, the population mean for this one falls somewhere within this range, and the population mean of this other group falls within this range, which means at some point, these two groups may have the exact same means. And sometimes this group may actually be lower, right? If we look at this low point here and compare it to this high point here, we might actually get the opposite result. So when error bars overlap, it means there is no significant difference between them. So that's the nice thing about bar charts with error bars, is you could interpret the findings and not even look at the results section, right? You don't need to look at the p-values or any of that stuff. We can purely interpret where the differences are from this graph alone. All right, so that's it. That's how you create a bar chart on Excel. I'll be making some other videos on making bar chart with Google spreadsheets and also how to create your scatter plots using both of these programs.